Pull the consent agenda. They do have a question. 5 different purchasing agreements.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order. Can you hear me in the back? Is this on? Barely. Hello, hello. 1 second. I'll talk really loud until it comes on. I'd like to call to order tonight the November 8th, 2010 Lake Washington School District Board of Directors meeting. And we have all board members present. And I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay. Did you want?
I have just a question about the consent agenda. Do you want me to ask it now or later?
She doesn't necessarily want them. She has questions about a couple things in there.
She can ask it now unless she wants to pull something.
Do you want to pull them?
Do you want to pull
No, I'm
it?
just curious because if I counted right, I think there were 4 or 5 furniture-related purchasing
Yes.
agreements.
Yes.
I'm just curious as to.
I figured they wanted every.
They're just options.
We're buying a lot of furniture, and they are options. So they're all in all 4 cases, they're cooperatives that we can join in order to buy furniture more cheaply. And so yes, it provides us a number of options.
So you don't necessarily have to purchase
No.
through those.
No, it
Okay.
simply puts the interlocal in place so that if in any given environment we bid on it and that furniture is available from that vendor for the cheapest price, it gives us the opportunity to, but we may not use one or any of them depending upon what the pricing looks like.
It was kind of curious to me. I guess my only other comment would be I hope that we're buying even for the kids ergonomically suitable furniture. Because
I see Forrest, he's going to jump up and down and say yes real quick, so yeah.
His head's nodding.
even kids will learn better if they're not totally uncomfortable when they're sitting.
Yeah, and the other thing that we do think about, and Forrest and I have been exchanging a little bit of email around this, is making sure that the furniture that we're buying is flexible enough to continue to adjust to the kinds of programmatic changes that we make because we buy furniture, as you know, for 20 or 30 years.
Excellent.
Yep.
And kids change and sizes
Yes,
change.
they do.
Excellent.
And
Thank
hopefully
you.
we'll give due consideration to the cooperative that we are part owner of.
Yes, thank you for the plug for KCDA.
Okay. So I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Would all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, the agenda is approved as written, and we have our host school this evening.
Great, thanks, Jackie. One of our favorite parts of the board meeting, I believe, is when we get to have a number of our students and parents and teachers come and tell us about the things that they're doing in their school. And so tonight we have the privilege of having Peter Kirk Elementary School, led by Sandy Dennehy. And Sandy has been a principal in our district for 5 years. And we're thrilled to have her. I said that I was going to embarrass her, and she said she was nervous, so I'm not going to do that. Other than saying she reminds me of my daughter because she smiles with her eyes. So thanks, Sandy.
There is
and
some resemblance.
welcome. Yeah.
It's all in the eyes right here. Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to come and speak with you guys today. And I just want to thank the staff members and the parents and the kids that came here from Peter Kirk as well today. So we are Peter Kirk Elementary School, home of the Eagles, and really amazing kids and staff. We are a mid-sized elementary school, about 540 kids right now, which we've grown significantly throughout the years. This year we decreased a little bit, so we have a little breathing room this year, which has been kind of nice. As you can see, we have a very highly qualified and motivated teachers who appreciate higher education opportunities for National Board Certified teachers, and over 73% of our staff with a master's degree or higher. We have over 300 families within Peter Kirk and 595 PTSA members. So we are at 75% membership, which is about 5% more than last year. It's amazing. So our first and foremost job as a collaborative unit of parents and staff is our commitment to student achievement and well-being. We are passionate about student growth and our students as a whole child, and to accomplish our To accomplish our commitment to academic achievement and well-being, it takes a great deal of leadership. So leadership from our staff, we have content team areas, so literacy and social studies, math, science, and school climate technology. These committees, guidance from the leadership team that we have, and the hard work that each staff member puts forth, coupled by the amazing leadership and creative minds of our PTSA, we are able to do the work that it truly takes to engage our students and to ensure that every student is future ready. I am asked often what makes Peter Kirk unique, and really it's our enrichment programs. As you see, this is just a snapshot of the programs provided at our school. We have loads of before and after school enrichment programs that benefit our students, again, as the whole child. So keeping in mind the health and well-being, fitness aspect, leadership, academic enrichment. Our students are also provided academic enrichment through volunteerism throughout the day with Mighty Math and Read Naturally and art docents, et cetera. So the PTSA works collaboratively with the staff in choosing the programs that support our building goals and our mission that is Peter Kirk Elementary is a creative learning environment where children feel they are valued and safe. Staff and community collaborate to provide the highest quality education to prepare students to be lifelong learners. And also supports our vision, which is every student future ready. So using DeFore's work and research, we actually wrote our mission based on our core values and decided to adopt the school district's vision as our own because we also want to ensure that students leave Peter Kirk future ready. We keep our mission in mind when we are planning and instructing and continue to hold ourselves accountable by revisiting our mission often. When we wrote our mission, it was really important to us that it become a document that we can live and breathe versus just words on our handbook or words on a piece of paper. So therefore, we continue to look back at our core values and break apart the mission statement as it says right there in what we say, and then also where evidence that we have currently within our building and evidence that we need. So this is just kind of a little snapshot of what it is that we go through. We actually create mission goals, if you will. So we look back throughout the school year and look at the evidence we need column and see if we've actually moved any of those over into the evidence that we have column throughout the year. Our data has shown growth patterns from year to year for the most part. We perform very well in reading. This year we actually had 97.3% of our fourth graders passing the MSP, which is pretty cool. And we actually we use this data to obviously look at the trends, see where the gaps are, see where the deficits are, and we actually pull apart the data much more than I have in this slide. Our writing scores continue to improve. Since, as a staff, a few years ago, we began working in vertical alignment with one another, basically analyzing the power standards and to make sure that kids move from grade level to grade level with the skills that are needed to be successful, and it has certainly paid off, those conversations that we've had. In science, we've taken a little dip, and we'll be approaching this gap in a similar fashion to the way that we have approached writing and other deficit areas. So third and fourth grade in math saw a slight decline this year. However, we saw some great growth in fifth and sixth grade. And as I move through the presentation, you'll actually see how we're attacking some of the issues in the early grade math deficits. However, I will say that we never drop any content area to focus just on the area of math because we want to make sure that we're holding up all areas, or all content areas. We are very aware of our deficit areas and really have begun analyzing the trends with the kids that are sitting in the seats right now in our classrooms in mind. So that takes us to our building goals, which we focus a lot on math right now in our building. We're a pretty high achieving school. We've always done a great job of bringing kids up to standard that haven't been at standard, and so therefore we've wanted to focus on how to challenge the kids that are actually at standard and achieving above and beyond. The Lake Washington Learning Community has gotten together, and also we formed a summit with teachers from each grade level, K-12. And the common message that we heard throughout those conversations were that kids were moving to the junior high and the high school without pre-algebra proficiency. So we really wanted to take a better look at that and how we could bridge that gap between elementary school and junior high, specifically in the number and operations strand. And so the focus has been on whole numbers, fractions, and decimals. And as a staff, we actually started the conversations after having the Lake Washington Learning Community Summit. We actually talked about how we could embed those, the number and operations strand into everyday things that we do. So calendar time and science and music and writing and reading. How can we always continuously be incorporating numbers into what we're doing throughout the day? And then we also obviously feel it's extremely important to use the data from the CDSAs. Those of you that don't know what that is, Common District Summative Assessments, as well as the Common End of Topic Assessments. So we are continually monitoring student progress in the areas and working in our PLCs with the 4 critical questions.
And PLCs are?
Professional Learning Communities.
Thank you.
Any other acronyms you want to throw my way? Got it. So obviously our goals are very centered around math, and we have a wonderful tool in our hands right now, which is our K-6 curriculum. Envision and Connected Math both provide rigorous curriculum that can be differentiated for the needs of individual students. We're also very, very lucky, as I said, to have enrichment programs supported by our PTSA. We have a very strong Math is Cool program led by Amy Myrie, who's a junior high teacher at Kirkland Junior High, and supported by parents for grades 4 through 6. We also use Mighty Math as a tool, which is basically pull out students individually one by one to work on basic computation. We have a math enrichment committee, which is through our PTSA that we work hand in hand with to evaluate the enrichment needs of our kids and see where we can and see how they can help. We also use the accelerated math program in many grade levels, which differentiates levels and strands of math where improvement is needed. And we have family math nights, and we started those last year, which has been really, really fun. Made bagged games, used board games that are leveled and focused on different strands of math. And really the main focus of that is to engage our families to play games with their kids around math. And it's not a curriculum thing, it's a fun night to work with parents. And then, of course, our PTSA collaboration is important in this. We still want to increase our math footprint in our school and change attitudes. And the reason I say change attitudes is because I know that growing up I was told, you know, my mom always said, well, I was never any good at math, so you probably won't be either. And that was something that I just kind of went on to believe, like, well, my mom wasn't good, I'm not going to be good, and my dad was okay, so I'm really in trouble. But what we want to do is change the attitudes of our families, of our teachers, of the kids, that anyone can do math. So as a staff, we've read the Productive Disposition. It's been a Lake Washington Learning Community goal to change those attitudes. So based on our math data and the desire to increase our math achievement, we started doing safety net for math this year, 4th through 6th grade, based on the MSP scores from last year. Again, we have the Lake Washington Learning Community Math Summit that I've been explaining, which is all 7 of our elementary schools that feed into Lake Washington High School and the 2 junior highs. And again, we just talk about the transitions between the levels and how we can increase our math footprint. Explorations in Math is a new program that we started at our school. Actually, our first class was this evening, and it was wildly popular. So all 7 of our elementary schools applied for a grant through the Lake Washington Schools Foundation and received that grant. And they actually come through, they provide for an instructor, math kits, assistance with math family nights, and they have a challenge board. You'll see that board where it says Exploring Number Sense. That's in our halls with challenge problems for kids to do throughout the month. And then they're also there for support. And then our math promotion posters, which you'll see located behind you. Those are our kids in those posters, and we have those around the school as well as posters that were made by the other elementary schools in our learning community, the junior high and the high schools. And basically they're positive math messages saying we can all do this and we need math and this is how we need to move forward. And then again, using the math CDSAs, I have to like say that very slowly, and focusing on the 4 critical questions in our PLCs, our professional learning communities, which is what is we expect students to learn, how will we know when they have learned it, how will we respond when they don't learn, and how will we respond when they already know it. And we're really, as a staff, going to be focusing on the last 2 questions, how will we respond when they don't learn, and how will we respond when they already know it. So basically making our action plans for kids as we see needed based on the questions that we'll have in our PLCs, using the data from the Common District Summative Assessments, or like I said, the end of topic assessments in math. So now after all that, I want to take us back to the data really quick. As a building, we focus, we do focus on the year-to-year data, but we also really focus on the cohort data. So looking at kids from year to year and have they shown improvement. And again, not looking at data as a whole necessarily, but also the individual kids, and then create action plans on how to move them forward. So even from a 1 to a 2, or a 2 to a 3, or a 3 to a 4, how are we going to challenge the kids that are already at standard? So we also have some really fun celebrations in math. Like I said, our Explorations in Math was wildly popular. I sent out an email. An hour later, it was full, our Explorations in Math program. So we have a waiting list already. So we're actually looking to expand the program, possibly even like right now, to add a second class, because it's something that people want. Kids are really enjoying math and want to continue it after school, which is really neat. We had more kids qualify for algebra entering into 7th grade than any other school going to KJH this year. And have been told unsolicited by a few teachers at the junior high that our kids are highly prepared as they enter 7th grade, which to me is a huge compliment. So we are really proud of our accomplishments in all content areas, but especially as I'm presenting kind of with the lens of math. However, we realize there's still room to improve and grow and ensure that every student is future ready. So my final word, I didn't do any like clapping or anything like that. You're lucky. Is thank you. Thank you for allowing me the time to brag about Peter Kirk. I've been there for 5 years, and I am truly honored and humbled every time I walk through the door. I think about the fact that I grew up in this area. I grew up in the district. I went to Lake Washington High School, and I'm so proud to be back in the Kirkland area. I'm so proud to work with the people that I work with, the highly, highly professional people, and the incredible parents and kids that I get to work with every day. I feel lucky and blessed, and I just want to thank you guys for the opportunity to share this, and thank you for supporting our goals as we move along through the year.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have, by chance, have some students and parents and teachers here?
I do.
Would you mind having them stand up?
Please stand. Peter Kirk.
Thank you all for being here, and thank you for Sandy. We're very, very proud of the work that's being done at Peter Kirk. You guys are an awesome school.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. And we have the next part of the agenda is some recognition of our high school students. So if families, we'll let you leave shortly because I know you'd like to get your children home to bed and possibly homework. But I think it'd be nice for them to sit and see how, at the other end of the spectrum, some achievement that occurs in the acknowledgement of those students coming up. So.
Great, thanks. Thanks, Jackie. The next part of our program tonight under recognition is we're very proud to have the opportunity to recognize a number of our students who are National Merit Scholar semifinalists and commended scholars. And tonight we're going to be recognizing those students from East Lake High School and from Lake Washington High School who have made that achievement. The National Merit Scholar Program represents those students in the top 5% of the population across the United States. And we are privileged in this district to have many students who are able to make those achievements. So I'd like to invite Brad Malloy, the principal of East Lake High School, to come forward and introduce his students and tell us a little bit about them. Brad?
Great. Thank
Did
you,
I miss
Dr.
anybody,
Kimball.
or is it
Pardon
you?
me?
It's you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do have some kids here to introduce also.
Okay.
First off, I'd also like to thank the board for giving us a few minutes this evening to recognize our commended scholars this evening. And some were able to attend, some were not because of some previous engagements, but I would like to take some time to recognize everyone. First, I'd like to ask Emma Cressy to come on up for a moment. Great. Would you stand right here? Thanks. Emma is a commended scholar for East Lake High School. She's active in the Junior Orthopedic Guild. She participated in the 2010 Relay for Life and is interested in attending University of Washington, possibly attending Washington and Lee University and Lehigh University. And she's right now interested in majoring in either pre-med, chemistry, or biology. I'd also like to say that she is the youngest of four children who have graduated from East Lake High School, and we're lucky to have her as one of our students. Congratulations, Emma. Okay, stand here for a second so they can all applaud for you. Okay, there you go. Great. Thank you. I'd like to ask Sarah Kang to come on up to the podium for a moment. And I'd like to mention that Emma is here with her mom and dad as well. Thanks, Emma. Emma has been very active in our school activities. She is a chair with the High Schools Against Cancer, a member of our Key Club, National Honor Society, and a senior representative. She's also a part of our Seattle Youth Symphony Orchestra, first violinist. She's volunteered the past 2 summers in China as an English tutor. She plays piano and violin in her church band and gives recitals periodically at local nursing homes, again, playing violin. She's been a member of National Honor Society since 9th grade, and she looks forward to possibly attending Stanford, University of Washington, and her interested majors are biology, music, and bioengineering. Sarah, thank you. Congratulations. And Sarah is also joined by her mom and dad. Harrison Kim. Harrison participates in a number of activities at Eastlake High School. He's a member of our tennis team. He's a Key Club treasurer. He's also a member of, now we've got some acronyms here, SSAAF treasurer and CMU event coordinator. He's been a JV tennis captain, heavily involved in music, plays piano, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, and he leads worship for the junior high at church, and he's also an Eagle Scout. He's a scholar athlete. He's been a Wolf of the Month in business education. He's interested in attending Tufts University, Columbia University, Johns Hopkins, Carnegie Mellon, University of Washington, or SPU. And he's currently interested in majoring in chemistry, biology, anthropology, theology, and music theory. And I'm disappointed to see that he doesn't have anything about here wanting to be a high school principal, but maybe that's still to come. But Harrison, congratulations. Harrison is also here with his mom and dad as well. Alicia McMurchie. Alicia. Thanks. Alicia is also involved in lots of our activities at Eastlake. She's a member of the Math Honor Society, Science Honor Society, Environmental Club, and National Honor Society. She enjoys horseback riding, running, watercolor painting, is a member of her church choir and orchestra. She's been the student of the month in humanities, and she's interested in attending University of Washington or possibly Western Washington, and she's interested in majoring in engineering. Alicia, thanks. You'll notice a little similarity between Alicia and this next student, her sister Elizabeth McMurchie. Thanks, Elizabeth. Elizabeth is a member of our Environmental Club, Science Honor Society, Math Honor Society, and National Honor Society Club. She is a hurdler in track. She enjoys horseback riding. She enjoys painting as well with pastels and charcoal. She's a member of choir and orchestra. She's been selected as a student of the month in business, and she's also interested in attending University of Washington and Western Washington University, and also possibly interested in majoring in engineering. Congratulations. And Elizabeth and Alicia are also here with her mom and dad as well. Katie Shore. Katie? Glad you could make it. Katie is involved in several Eastlake activities, including DECA, Honor Society, and leadership. She is a volunteer with her church. She participates in the Relay for Life committee. Katie's interested in attending Pomona, USC, University of Washington, and Santa Clara University. She's interested in becoming possibly an architecture, majoring in liberal arts, and this could cost her folks some money. When you put down not sure, that means you might be going to college for 6 or 7 years. So, but that's great. Thank you, Katie. Congratulations. I'd also like to recognize just a few students, not unless someone walked in while I've been up chatting. Oh, Christine. There we are. Thank you for catching that. Come on up, Christine. This is Christine Rohali. saw you earlier.
I was at work.
Okay. So Christine is a member of our environmental club, Harry Potter Club, and Relay for Life Committee. She's a volunteer at the University of Washington Medical Center. She's an environmental club officer, a member of the Math Honor Society, as well as an officer with the Math Honor Society, and a member and officer of the Science Honor Society. She's, again, a National Merit Commended Scholar, and she's interested in attending University of Pennsylvania, University of Washington, University of Virginia, and Georgetown. Her area of interest right now, as far as a major, is nursing. Christine, congratulations. A couple other folks I'd like to mention this evening who were not able to join us. Madison Starnes, Emily Tierney, Allison Carey, and Alexander Darling were not able to attend this evening. So again, congratulations to our Eastlake students. I would like to ask the parents of our students who were able to come tonight to stand up for a moment and be recognized, because we know how important your support is as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. We also are privileged to have Christina Thomas, the principal of Lake Washington High School, here to introduce her students and their achievements.
Just to keep things a little loose, I'm going to have all my students come up here all at once. Come on up, kids. We're very privileged to be here, as everyone else has already said. We're going to just introduce the students who are here, and then I have several who are running START students full-time, so they are not here this evening. So Matthew Lewis, stand forward. We haven't practiced. Matthew Lewis is part of our math club, which probably, did you go to Peter Kirk?
No, I was moved here.
Okay. Matthew just moved here, and so he is interested in going to the University of Washington, and he's going to study engineering or computer science. So we're really proud of Matthew. And we have Grant Crawer. Grant is a part of our Honor Society. He also plays basketball, plays golf, and volunteers at HopeLink. He is taking AP Physics and Biology. He plans on going to OSU, University of Washington, or Gonzaga and studying engineering. Grant, congratulations. And Allison Herendine, is that right? Okay. Is in National Honor Society, School and Recreational Soccer. She is a volunteer at Perfect Pals, the Cats Sanctuary. She works as a kennel attendant at VCA Redmond Animal Hospital. She's high honor roll, AP scholar with honors, Spanish 4 student of the quarter, and she plans on going to University of Washington, WSU, Stanford, Harvard, or Brown. She plans studying in biology and pre-veterinary medicine. She wants to be a vet. You can tell by the cat and stuff. Congratulations. And then we have Curtis Donahoe, varsity tennis, National Honor Society, DECA, Environmental Club, varsity soccer. He was Spanish student of the quarter. He plans on going to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, or Westmont College, or Stanford. He plans to major in history, geography, or computer science. So Curtis, congratulations. And then for our National Merit semifinalist, we had Joseph Wu. Joseph is Math Club Vice President, also a member of our informal robotics club. We hope to form a formal robotics club in the near future. Most activities are outside of school or academic studies. He does programming, math, other sciences, read The Economist, and this is like over my head, 2 zoo.com tutor. Maybe you know what that is. I have no idea. It's pronounced what?
It's pronounced Zizu.
Zizu. See, I don't know. He was a National AP Scholar, AMC Scholar winner 3 years in a row. Harvard, he wants to go to Harvard, MIT, Yale, Princeton, Stanford, the University of Washington, UIUC, or Cornell. He wants to study electrical engineering, economics, material science, and business. So, congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations to each and everyone. If your parents are here, would you mind having your parents stand up? We'd like to recognize them as well. Thank you. I did notice that one of our board members, Ravi Shahani, started smirking when all the Ivy League schools started coming up. So, again, congratulations.
So I went to Cornell and did electrical engineering. That's all.
I know you have a bias, and I went to USC, so we can talk about that later.
And not in this one. And I don't know about all of you, always admire, wonder how they have all that time in the day. They keep it very busy and very full in a variety of activities. So our hats off to all of you, and congratulations, and we wish you best in your future endeavor in colleges of your choice. And we've got some very interesting ones, kind of be excited to see where people go. Our next item on our agenda is public comment, and we have 2 people signed up tonight to speak. First is Doug Seto from our Lake Washington Schools Foundation.
Well, the first thing I'd like to say is I'm very impressed with outstanding graduates coming up here, so congratulations. Just wonderful. So I'm pleased to report that your Lake Washington Schools Foundation is working hard to accomplish academic excellence for all students in the Lake Washington School District. And we have been working tirelessly to create some great grants and everything, and we had a chance to received some grants as well. So I wanted to report that we received an AT&T grant for $10,000 to support the LINKS program, as well as from the Paul Glazier Foundation, we received a grant for $8,000 in the past month here. So those are the support, both are the supporting the LINKS program. And this month as well, we have granted over $50,000 in grants to the Lake Washington School District, and this included 30 enrichment grants totaling more than $40,765. And we were happy this time. We got 30 grants in, and we had the chance to fund all 30 grants, so we're happy about that. And 5 of those grants went to high schools, totaling $7,500. 6 went to junior high schools that were $9,000, and 19 went to elementary schools for $24,765. And wanted to just mention a few things that might be of interest to you. 10 of them were for literacy, and these are some reading programs that included in-depth discussions and reporting as part of the classroom experience. And there were 9 that were math, and one of them is explorations in math, and I'm glad that Peter Kirk has enjoyed that, so I'm glad that see the good results from that. And 5 were science, 2 for mentoring. The other thing that we also did as part of that $50,000 is grant $10,000 to the Access Fund, which supports 10 junior high and high schools with the highest population of at-risk students. And this helps defray cost for classroom fees and things like that. So, and I think the last thing is that I wanted to recognize, unfortunately, the 2 co-chairs of our committee are not here tonight, but I wanted to recognize Carrie Schwitters and Chris Enzeline. They worked hours and hours and hours to research these grants and make the grants. And now right now they're working on our spring grant program, which is coming up, going to be announced in January and awarded in the spring for next year's class. So thank you.
Thank you, Doug. And we have Eric Murray here with us tonight from Cascadia Community College.
Superintendent Kimball, members of the school board, thank you for the opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Eric Murray. I am the new president of Cascadia Community College. I've been there about 4 months. I got all of my degrees from UCLA. I didn't hear that mentioned on the list anywhere. But go Bruins, right? I don't know if you're aware, but in the state of Washington, the community colleges are defined by their school districts that they serve. And Cascadia has been designed to serve the North Shore School District, Riverview, and Lake Washington School District. We are not in competition with Lake Washington Technical. We complement them. Lake Washington Technical has an outstanding program in the professional technical vocational area, and Cascadia, whether you know it or not, has an excellent program in academic transfer and preparation of students for the university environment. In fact, we have the best transfer rate of any of the community colleges in the state. One of the things over the last 10 years, Cascadia has been focused on getting grounded, and by so doing, they've really served the Bothell community and the North Shore community, and it's my intent over the next 10 years to make sure that we reach out to the other school districts that we serve. And so last week, Superintendent Kimball and I met just to say hello, to chat, to make sure that we're going to collaborate and partner where we can. We want to be a good servant to you as a school district, and I just wanted the opportunity to say hello. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you and welcome. Very much appreciate your coming and introducing yourself. And we have, I know, one more person coming, Cheryl Lewis. This is an important time right now for PTSA Council.
It is, most certainly. I'm here to ask for money from everybody. No, we have our scholarship basket auction started last Thursday out in the foyer. This will be silent bidding for the whole month of November, and the silent bidding cutoff date the deadline will be December 2nd, and that's when we all bring our checkbooks, and we're right down to the wire writing who's going to get those wonderful baskets out there. So I want to thank all of you. I know that everybody's been donating, all of our councils or all of our PTAs have in our district, and we just wanted to encourage everyone to get out there and check it all out and have some fun with it. So the scholarship baskets, for those of you in the audience who are not aware, is our council sponsors this every year, and all of this money goes towards the seniors that are in our district. They apply for grants in the spring. We have a scholarship grant committee that will review all the applications and award those grants to the seniors going off to college. So that's what that money is for, that goes for that. Okay, so
Great.
thanks. That's
and
all
they're wonderful looking as always.
As always, there you go. So thanks very much.
Some good deals for the holiday season.
You bet.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience that wished to speak this evening? Okay. Yes, if you'd come forward, please, and tell us your name and where you're from.
Hi, my name is Alicia Regan Hughes, and I have a son that attends school in the Lake Washington School District. I'm currently a homeschooling mom, but he goes to Family Learning Center, and we have been considering having our son attend going into Finn Hill Junior High next year, and then further on down going to Juanita High School. So my family is very concerned that the plans to modernize Juanita High School has been scrapped at this point, and that the money instead, not that it's the same money, but that money instead is now looking to build a new school outside of our area up in the Redmond Ridge. And one of the questions that I have is, first of all, is about the money, the funding or the amount of the funding that was stated in the last board meeting, which is $135 million for Juanita High School. I'm wondering where that figure comes from, and I'm wondering how much it cost to renovate Lake Washington High School, because the figures that I was looking at said it was $58 million, not $135 or $130 million. Just very concerned about this issue, and I know that I'm not the only one here, but many people in our community did not even know that this was happening. And we just got the word about it like last night, just through a random search that my husband was doing online, and found a an article in the Kirkland Reporter about it. So I want you to know that even though there aren't a lot of people here speaking about this, there are many people who are really concerned about it. So if you could address that.
Did you want to?
Sure. I'll go ahead and address this, Jackie. The modernization of Juanita, let me talk about costs first. I'll kind of go there, and then I'll talk about the decision-making process. The $135 million price tag is done by cost estimators that we hire in order to assess what it would take to replace that school. Lake Washington High School cost $100 million. And that's real dollars that's being spent today, and that was authorized in the 2006 bond that was passed. We ran a bond, as you may know, last February in order to modernize Juanita High School. Juanita High School is actually on the modernization schedule for the bonds scheduled in 2014. What we tried to do a year ago was accelerate that schedule because I found it as a priority and I wanted to get that project moving as quickly as we could, but the voters voted no. And so in light of that, we needed to take a pretty serious look at what our voters were telling us, and what we heard from the voters was, we think it's important, we think Juanita High School is important, but in this economic environment, we want you to wait. And so we are planning on waiting until 2014, and in 2014, I'll be bringing a proposal to the board that will include Juanita High School, and the board will then decide whether or not to put that to the voters for a vote. What we're dealing with right now is overcrowding. We have a significant overcrowding problem primarily in the east side of the district, and we have to deal with the overcrowding. And what we have done is taken, and we built the overcrowding issues into the bond that failed also in February. So it was Juanita High School, it was a couple of elementary schools, it was the expansion of the 2 high schools on the east side of the district, and it was also another campus for a school that would focus on science, technology, engineering, and math. And when the voters said, not now, we took that proposal, which was 200 and, I'm looking at Janine, 235 million, 236 million, I think was the amount. And we scaled that way back and scoped it to only the things that we have to do right now before 2012 in order to deal with the overcrowding. And that came to facility changes of $65 million. We held a series of public meetings around this issue. We had over 1,000 people respond either in person or in survey to what we should do, when we should do it. We asked the question of those 1,000 people, should we put Juanita High School on the ballot or not? And it came back, no, we shouldn't. We should wait. We asked the same thing about a couple of elementary schools that we're going to need in the short term. We're also not addressing those issues right now. We're only dealing with those emergency issues. The cost of this school that is dealing, again, with overcrowding is less than 25% of the cost it would cost to modernize Juanita High School. So I feel very strongly Juanita High School is a priority for us. It's a priority for me. But our voters have said they're not willing to pay for it right now. These overcrowding issues are issues we have to deal with, or we'll be faced with things like double shifting high schools and other consequences that are frankly not very favorable.
So the STEM school that you're talking about, that will be benefiting students in Redmond?
No, that actually will be open to all schools in the district.
Who is going to take their kids all the way over to the Redmond Ridge? I mean, it's really basically it's going to serve the Redmond schools and its students, and it's not going to deal with the overcrowding issue that Juanita is going to have. It's not helping people in the Kirkland area.
So what I'd suggest, because this really isn't designed to be a time to be a dialogue,
okay.
I'd be happy to answer your questions. You can either send me an email or somebody on our staff, and I'd be happy to answer all of those questions or set up a time where we can talk about that with you. I think that the rationale for why we're doing what we're doing is a pretty rational basis for what we're doing, and so we'd be happy to have that dialogue with you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Also, Jackie and I talked a little bit about this weekend about this issue. I think there's confusion that we need to address, maybe when we talk about the the levy proposal, we can talk about it. I think terms are getting confused in our community,
Yeah.
and we need to talk about definitions.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thank you. And regardless of the facility, I want to let you know that Juanita High School's programs and the quality of what goes on within the four walls of that building is outstanding, having had 2 graduates from there. And I think that it continues to be an outstanding school. It has our Cambridge program there. It has a lot to offer for students. So beyond what the facility itself does, it doesn't really impact the quality of what goes on as far as education goes. And we'll talk more, because it's on the agenda, about the proposal coming up, and make some other comments about what's going on. And I think the big thing, too, and as in any issues that are out there, that there's going to be some miscommunications that go on, is that in order to do anything in this district as far as modernizing, rebuilding, building new schools, it has always taken the entire community to be together to make those happen. And there have been times that the west side has benefited. Finn Hill, for example, right now, which will be a brand new school here opening next year, and all the other schools, and it's just the time and plan in place. But it took people on the east side of the district to help support that. And so now we're facing the issues on the east side of the district where there's the crowding issues and that we need to address. And our goal is to make sure that we provide the best situations we can for all kids. But we also have to do it in a climate that we are in today with the economy the way it is and having the voters support what we do.
Yeah. A couple things real quick. One is that Janine Fogart is right back there, if you could raise your hand. And if you could just touch bases with Janine on your way out, she'll make sure that you have access to the right people to get the information you need.
Okay, that's great.
And the other thing, too, is I do think that the article that was in the Kirkland Courier was not entirely factual. And so Janine will be able to clear up those facts for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for your time.
I think what we need to really do is clarify issues over what modernization is and our whole modernization schedule. We know what we're talking about.
Right.
I've become convinced that we need to explain that better. And then the issue on choice schools and what that means, because in actual fact, the majority of choice schools are on the west side of the district.
Right.
This will be actually
There's
the
a
first
lot of
one that
things
isn't.
getting confused in the middle of our need for accommodating growth.
I agree, but right now my priority is get those Eagles home.
Get the
Yes,
kids home.
yes, and actually I wanted to say, yes, thank you very much for staying, and we appreciate very much, very well, youngsters did such a great job. They're probably ready to head home and head for bed.
Thank you for coming.
Okay.
You've got another person who wants to comment.
Yes, would you like to come to the microphone, please? And this will just make as a comment, we won't respond back.
I didn't expect to get one, honestly. First of all, I'd love to say the gal that spoke from Peter Kirk, I would love to have her at my school. I happen to be at a school where you've received an email about, Jackie, where we're dealing with 50% of our sixth graders are failing math in our MSP. We have 45 kids in our math class, one teacher. 45 kids in a math class, one teacher. We have no direction. We have no one telling us, trying to get us more help. I see that people are getting grants for their classrooms. We don't have any direction. We have a captain, our ship is sinking, and there's no one there. We as parents are trying to organize and fix this because no one else is doing anything. And I don't know, I'm not familiar with any of the processes. I have twins in sixth grade. I am there every single day trying to accommodate, trying to help, and it's a mess. And Bill's people are doing awesome, and they have great leadership. We need to figure out how to get great leadership into all these schools to where we can have what they have. We don't have it.
And could you tell us your name, please?
Shirley Wilkes.
Shirley Wilkes, okay.
I have two
So,
kids
Shirley,
at
the
Thoreau
person-
Elementary School.
So Shirley, I've actually received an email from you. I'm going to direct you to talk to Tracy Pierce, who's right there, and she will be able to help you, talk to you about where we are and what's going on in that situation. So Tracy will help you.
Okay, is she, so
She's the deputy superintendent in charge of instructional programs, and she supervises all of our schools and all of our principals. that's the person to talk to.
So you have a program in place then that I can go back to?
And just for the record, we have been interacting with Mrs. Wilkes, and there is a plan in place, and we have been working with the principal to deal with the situation in 6th grade.
Great, thank you. And thank you. Okay. Not seeing anyone else, we will now move on to our consent agenda, please. Entertain a motion to approve.
Move approval.
Chip, poll the board, please.
Chris?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Jackie?
Yes?
Doug? Ravi?
Yes.
Okay, and under tab 11, we have our donations for this particular meeting for a total of $131,180, which is tremendous.
Yes.
We have a $15,095 donation from the Bell PTSA to Bell Elementary School for a variety of things, including their dog programs, school assemblies, field trips, math enrichment, safety patrol, landscaping, playground equipment, and more. We have a donation for $5,940 from the Krista McAuliffe PTSA to McAuliffe Elementary to provide stipends for their ASB and homework clubs. We have a donation from the John Muir PTSA to John Muir Elementary School for $6,700 to provide curriculum enrichment and field trips. We have a donation for $3,790 from the Twain PTSA to Twain Elementary School to support their math club and field trips. We have a donation for $6,322 from the Rockwell PTA to Rockwell Elementary School to support their outdoor education program, student council, and music and choir. We have a donation for $3,521 from the Juanita Schools Foundation to Juanita Elementary School to provide stipends for outdoor education, music, and technology. We have a donation for $3,470 from the Samantha Smith PTSA to Smith Elementary School to support Read Naturally and their student council program. We have a donation of $26,925 from the Kirk PTSA, who of course was here tonight, to Kirk Elementary School for, again, a number of things, including sixth grade enrichment program, field trips, accelerated math, student council, chorus, Math is Cool, explorations, math, and homework. We have a donation of $2,300 from the Carson PTSA to the Carson Elementary School for accelerated reader and star reading programs. We have a donation of $3,040 from the Thoreau PTSA to the Thoreau Elementary School for after-school running club and honor choir. We have a donation of $3,580 from the Wilder PTSA to Wilder Elementary School for their choir, motor skills, and cribbage programs. Didn't know we had a cribbage programs out there. Varsity cribbage, there we go.
Very British.
Card game.
We have a $3,018 donation from the Stella Scola PTO to Stella Scola for enrichment extracurricular programming. A $26,500 donation from the Environmental Adventure School PTSO to that school to provide for extra help and support their field trips and expeditions for the year. We have a $5,000 donation from the Blackwell PTSA to Blackwell Elementary School to support their field trips. A $2,250 donation from the Mann PTSA to Mann Elementary School to purchase a site license for IXL Math. A $4,250 donation from the Dickinson PTSA to Dickinson Elementary School to provide music and outdoor education and reimburse copies. And a $5,477 donation from the Carson PTSA to Carson Elementary School for stipends for their webmasters, student council, and supporting their field trip program. And lastly, a $4,000 donation to Rush PTA to Rush Elementary School to support their field trips for a total of $131,180. And of course, you'll note in this that a lot of this, of course, is for all the field trips that are done throughout the year that the PTSA support at this time of year.
And cribbage is great for all those quick math skills, adding and counting and, good card game, fast. Got to be able to do it quickly. Brings back lots of memories.
Yep.
Me and my dad.
Yep.
Okay, and we are now on to our non-consent agenda. which is our capital projects levy.
Yep. Thank you, Jackie. If we could turn to tab 12, and this is Resolution 2069. As you know, last board meeting we talked about a capital projects levy to support the construction additions at Eastlake and Redmond High School, as well as the construction of a science, technology, engineering, and mathematics themed school on the east side of the district, specifically to address overcrowding throughout the school district. It's important as a context to provide for the board that we are addressing these very significant capital needs inside of our district as a result of a new growth pattern in our district very seriously in a very difficult economic time in our state and in our nation. After the not reaching the 60% supermajority that we needed in February 2010, we went back to our community and asked the question, what, if anything, should we do in order to address the overcrowding issues? And again, what that overcrowding looks like is that this year we had 625 new students over what we had a year ago, and we're projected to have 425 new students each year for the next 5 years, which is essentially about an elementary school per year. And we put in place a number of strategies in order to address that overcrowding with our existing facilities, including putting portables on school sites, including moving to a 9-12 system in the fall of 2012, where we've got 800 spots for kids living in our high schools today, so we'll use up those spots. But we'll still have a number of additional spots that we'll still need after we relieve that pressure in the elementary school. We also have torn apart our computer labs in some instances and used our art science rooms in other instances in order to address overcrowding. And the situation as we see it today is by the fall of 2012, we're just going to be out of room. And so this construction is required in order to deal with those space issues. So after a series of public meetings, we asked our community, both those that often have kids in our school system that come to public meetings, as well as through a randomized survey where we asked our voters to make sure that we were touching on those people that not only come to our school events and have interest in schools, but those that are voting and that may not have kids in our schools, and ask them, what should we do? And what we heard from our voters is deal with this problem frugally, but strategically. Don't be penny wise and pound foolish, but also don't ask for the moon. And we believe that we came up with a proposal that meets that desire of our voter base. We also decided to deal with this as a capital projects levy, which is short-term money, which means there's no interest paid on this money, and it also only requires a 50% simple majority in order for this to pass. And we have spec'd it accordingly. So after the vote, the board voted last week to approve this levy. Tonight, you're being asked to approve a resolution that has the legal language which will approve what will actually go on the ballot. So if you look at your, in your resolution, towards the back on page 5 is actually the language that will land on the ballot. So I wanted to go ahead and read that language aloud and then answer any questions that the board might have. It says, the Board of Directors of Lake Washington School District number 414 adopted Resolution 2069 authorizing the levy for facility expansion and construction. This levy funds the construction and equipping of expanded school facilities at Redmond High School and Eastlake High School, and the construction and equipping of a new secondary school for students from across the district, and authorizes the following excess levy on all taxable property within the district. And you can see the rates there, and this would be a 6-year levy, beginning collection in 2012 and ending collection in 2017. The approximate value per thousand, assessed value, the approximate levy rate per $1,000 of assessed value is 31 cents in the first year, 30 cents in the second, down to 26 cents in the last year, which allows us to collect $10.9 million per year. As you know, if the assessed valuation goes up or down, the rate adjusts accordingly, but we cannot collect any more money, and that's often a confusion because the cities can often pass a rate rather than an amount. What we're passing is a dollar amount, and we're giving a projected rate based upon our current assessed valuation, but we can only collect that amount, and this is the amount that we believe it will take in order to do this construction based upon the estimates that we've gotten from architects and contractors to date. And then, of course, there's a yes or no on this. At this point, we don't know whether or not there will be anything on that ballot in February, and this will be a special election for this purpose.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion and a second, and then we can have discussion on this.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. And discussion, comments?
Is the language of the proposition what would appear in the ballot?
Yes.
Okay.
What are we going to do this year about a ballot, what do you call them?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
We'll have to,
A voter's pamphlet.
voters pamphlet.
The school
Yes,
district,
we
we
are.
learn from our mistakes.
Yes, well,
we
and
are.
traditionally, they weren't done on levies
Right.
and special elections, but the
Game over.
landscape has
We'll be doing
changed.
one.
Yeah,
So will we be alone, do we think?
We don't know that yet. Currently, right now, today, so we checked that over the last, since we last met, and currently we are the only people in King County who have asked for a voter's pamphlet, which means that we would have to bear the whole cost
Entire
of that.
cost, ouch.
Does that come from the district, or does that come from the promotion committee?
That comes
the
from the
district.
district.
That's a district cost?
Yes.
Yeah, ouch.
And does the district ask for the pro and con then? I know,
Yes.
because being involved with the one for annexation for the city of Kirkland, this council asked for the pro and con, and then they approved the number of people who, because they got a number of people who submitted their names, so they approved 3 people to write on each side rather than have 50,000 trying to write a document. Do you anticipate doing something similar to that, or do we don't know yet?
You know, Jackie, it's a little bit of a new ball game for us, but that is my understanding is that we do need to solicit, interest in that, and then if we have multiple people, then we'll have to decide how we divvy that space up, but it is the district that does it and not the promotional committee.
Okay.
The promotional committee obviously could volunteer to write the pro statement.
Right.
But
And I know that the city council was required to do the approval of the people who did it. So I don't know if that means that, in this case, would it be the board that needed to approve the people? So we have to look at timing, because there's a very distinct timeline of when it has to be submitted, because then you have to have time for rebuttal. It's limited in words and blah, blah, blah.
Is there somebody required? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, just going to say, we reached out to King County to get some of those details this week, but they were a little preoccupied, so they
I think
weren't
they
able
might have been, yes.
to respond to
Still
it.
counting?
They did respond to the email and let us know that they would be getting back with us, but they had few other priorities. So we've made that contact, but we just don't have a lot of answers right now about the specifics.
Who approves the con?
We don't approve it. You just approve people to write it,
To write the pro?
and the con.
Wait, we approve the people who write the con?
We approve the people to write the statements. They write the statements.
More fun than I thought.
And then
bizarre.
and then each side, the pro could rebut the con can rebut the pro. At that point, we have nothing to do with it. It is solely in their hands. That's what happened when we did the annexation one, is our group wrote our facts in, X number of words. The con did theirs. We did a quick, short rebuttal, and that's what went into the voters' pamphlet.
So it's like
And
a
it was not
understand that.
approved by the council.
I don't
But the people were.
Dan,
This is a related issue. I'm sorry, this is a related issue, but it's more of an editorial thing. But it's something I brought up in the past, and we still haven't. I assume that an attorney that we work with has this on a kind of boilerplate. But it says in Section 5, in terms of approval of the form of ballot, that the Secretary of the Board of Directors is hereby authorized and directed to certify said proposition to the King County elections as ex officio supervisor. I think that was based on what that position was when, before it became a directly elected. I think this is which properly, and I think we should just give the superintendent license to come up with the correct title. But we now have directly elected elections, I think it's director in King County, as opposed to it used to be a appointed position within county government. So I think we need to begin getting that terminology straight.
Okay.
We will check on that, Doug. We did raise that last time, and they have continued to use this language. I don't know if there's some legal reason why they're doing this, but we will raise that once again.
And I'm not usually a stickler for, this, but it just, proposition to the King County elections is kind of awkward. But I think we really should find out what the correct terminology is, because we now have a directly elected. In most counties, it would be the auditor, I think, but in our county, it's a little bit different.
Okay, we'll look into that and change it accordingly.
Can I make a suggestion on the wording? I don't know how easy it is to change, or if we're allowed to do this, but
On the resolution or the actual?
The resolution, or the
actual proposal for the
proposition
ballot.
number 1, the thing that's going to be.
Page 5.
Yes, I believe. I'm looking at the thing online, but I think it's page 5. To add just a few words saying something like to relieve overcrowding in schools or something like that. I'm basically wondering if someone just cracks open, huh?
There's
Are we allowed to do anything?
limitations on, we can check on that, Robbie. There's limitations on what you can say because it can be deemed to sway, so it has to be written pretty neutrally.
I don't know if we can say that or not, but
We'll look into
Right,
whether
if
or
we
not we
can, we
can.
should.
And if we can, we will include it, and if we can't, I'll report back to the board
I'm not
accordingly.
trying to suggest we try to, unduly bias people, but if someone just cracks open the ballot, either lost their voter's pamphlet or, whatever, right? At least that will
Right.
give them some clue that, what the intention is.
Yeah, those ballot issues are funny and how they're
Yeah,
written.
check, I'd
But
say.
no, I agree. I think it's worth checking into.
We will check into it accordingly.
And before we go, any other questions about the mechanics of the ballot itself or the voter's pamphlet? So Janine, we're checking on that, and then she can give a report
Do
back.
we have to
Ohana.
approve the actual language if we change this language?
No, in Section 5, it says that you give me authorization to,
okay.
it's substantially in the following form, but I can change the little details like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we're okay with that. And timing will be real critical then about the approval of this, the yays and nays. We probably will have to do it in December if they're going to be writing it for January. So just timing with our board meetings to make sure of that. What I'd like to do, one of two things. Shall we approve this measure and then have a little conversation about some of the issues that are surfacing and brewing? So
Yeah.
you can add into our levy committee is doing some of that. Catherine's capturing them to create a frequently asked questions page on the website, so she'd take any more ideas to put there to answer questions, and there's a place for people to go to find answers. But just ways that we can communicate with the community, and it's, as you can tell, very difficult to get to everybody in one fashion or another, and we are trying very hard to be as ahead of it this time before January to get out as much word to the public that this is going to be there and what it entails. That being said, let's deal with the measure itself. Any more
I'm
discussion?
willing to do it that way.
Okay. Approve the levy
Looks good.
measure, the resolution
Yeah.
as it is. I've
Sounds
got
good.
motions. All those in favor, please say aye to approve resolution number 2069.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, so the levy, capital projects levy is approved. So now let's just talk a little bit about any issues that you think need to be addressed so that Catherine can capture those, and Chip and Janine, and from the district side. And just a reminder to those that are listening out there, TV's not working again with Comcast, that the district will be providing factual information about the levy. They can answer questions that relate to the facts. They cannot promote anybody's voting yay, nay, or otherwise on the measure. That's why we have the Citizens Levy Committee. So I will take some issues down as well that come from the promotional side and take it to that committee for how we can help put out the word. So we have two separate vehicles of getting information out to the community about this levy in February.
Well, first off, I will be at Juanita High School's PTA meeting Wednesday talking about this with them. So I don't know how well attended that will be and how many people will be there from that community. And obviously, it doesn't capture kids in the pipeline. It's kids that will.
And we
are
do have
already there.
revised slides for you too, by the way, that we will get to you before Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Yep.
Okay. But I guess we all know there was this letter to the editor in the Kirkland Courier. I was out of town, so I read it late. When did that come out? Tuesday or Wednesday?
No, it came out
last
Thursday.
week?
It came out really Friday, but it landed on people's doorsteps on Thursday.
Okay. So when I read it on Saturday, when I got back from my trip, I called Jackie and said, what in the heck's going on? It is, he's entitled to his opinion, but what's the term, not his facts. And, I appreciate all the things he's done for the district and the community, but we do have confusion. My understanding is that you're going to prepare an op-ed piece or a letter to the editor?
Yes, we're going to prepare a district response to that letter that'll go to the Courier on a Wednesday for publication this week.
Okay, because I think the papers to date have done an excellent job of conveying the situation, the meetings, the things that have gone into the decision making, and that certainly did add confusion. I think the other thing is when we talk about modernization, perhaps our community doesn't always understand what we mean by modernization. We have this modernization schedule. Every 8 years, we prepare a modernization bond. We take it to our community, and they have been generous enough to support it for the last 3 times. Have we done it already? Two times. Yep. So this will be the third. The first modernization, we can only afford to do 1 high school per 8-year modernization. That's basically the bottom line. So the first year, Redmond High School, which was in disastrous condition, particularly from an energy perspective and facilities and et cetera, was on the agenda. The second time we went, the debate was between Lake Washington and Juanita, and they were both evaluated to determine which should go on the modernization schedule first, and it was almost a draw, but Lake Washington was in worse shape than Juanita when it came down to it. And somebody had to go first, and it was Lake Washington. Juanita is due in 2014. We tried to accelerate it because we have such a good economic time right now for construction, and it would be really nice to have accelerated that schedule. It's just not the right time for the voters to support it. But I'm not sure people understand that whole issue around modernization of our schools versus what we're doing with this bond, which is increasing capacity.
Levy,
thank you. Sorry, levy. Increasing capacity at our 2 high schools that are going to have the most overcrowding issues when we go to 9th grade. It's just pure and simple mathematics. They don't have enough capacity when we move to 9th grade in high school.
Right.
Then the choice school.
Yep.
And we have got to explain that, for the one thing, and what the article was very unclear on, the vast majority of our secondary choice schools are on the east side of the district.
You mean west side of the district?
West side of the district. Yeah. Okay, if we repeat our mistakes, maybe people get this really clear. Explain our mistakes. The west side of the district has the majority of secondary choice schools. We have land available on the east side. We have the ability to put a choice school there. It is not the same cost as a permanent building because we're doing modular construction. And so this is a good opportunity to take the pressure off of our growth numbers by moving ahead with this plan that we've had for a long time to add another secondary choice school, and it would be in the east side. And yes, we do have parents, including the superintendent here, who drive their kids or have their kids transported clear across our district for particular programs. They can do it for our four-year high schools. They can do it for our choice schools.
Very well done. And I think that you raise a very good point, and it was something that we were trying very hard to keep in mind, and I know from our promotional side, is to not do a typical mailing look to what we do for most levies and bonds. We're really trying to have people realize that this is different. This is not part of our regular program that we've had in place to modernize, and that it's dealing with an issue that we have to deal with, and how do you kind of pull that out of people's minds. Obviously, we're not doing a great job over in the Juanita area because of Juanita having been on last February's bond. But all we can do is keep trying, and I think it's important that we do that. I was wondering if we could, I just went through our website to get to where the frequently asked questions was, and was like 3 clicks through, wondering if we could put a hot button on the front page, just so folks can go right there, because there's a wealth of information in there, just scanning through it. You've got lots of good stuff on that page, and I think that we need it right on the front page of the website.
So I've got 2 comments on this. The first is one of the concerns that I've heard repeatedly has been that this is building a choice school for the east side of the district. And I just want to report anecdotally that most of the people I know with children at ICS are from the Plateau. Should we build a choice school that those parents choose to send their children to that liberates space at schools that are here on the west side? So I believe that this choice thing is one of pressure throughout the district, not that we are simply building for one end of the district. The second is I have a very significant concern that we keep referring to a facility that's younger than I am as decrepit.
Which one are we talking about?
It's nothing to do with humans, it just has to do with buildings.
I just checked that Juanita was built in 1971. Anyway, I just wanted to register that concern.
A couple
But
things.
it's a building.
It is, and I do think that we need to gain some perspective. Redmond High School was older than Lake Washington High School. It was, in 2005, when we rebuilt it, it was over 50 years old. Lake Washington High School was built in 1949, modernized a couple of times, not well. And Juanita High School was built in 1971. It is the less modern of the high school facilities in the district when LW is finished. There's no question about it. However, it is not a decrepit, torn down, horrible, awful building. It is a building that needs modernization, and we will do that modernization in the next 10 years. But if you go over to Seattle School District or Tacoma School District or some of our neighbors, even Bellevue and North Shore School District, you're going to find facilities that are in far, far worse condition than Juanita High School. And I think something that Jackie said is important, and that is that if you look at the kind of achievement that is happening at Juanita High School, kids are achieving inside of that school, and that's actually the most important thing. The other thing that I think that we need to continue to reinforce is that there are people in our community that will try and make this a divisive issue between East and West. Our responsibility, my responsibility as the superintendent, and I think your responsibility as a board, is that we have a responsibility to make sure that all children are well educated and that all children have adequate facilities. And that is reflected in the kind of work that this board has done over the past 15 years. Because otherwise you wouldn't have a new Finn Hill and a new Sandburg and a new Juanita L. and a new Kirkland Junior and a new Rose Hill Elementary and a new Thoreau and a new Keller and a new ICS and a new Franklin and a new Twain and a new Lakeview. And, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So when we look at the almost $500 million worth of construction that has been done in our district over the last 15 years, more than 50% of that $500 million has been committed to the west side of the district. So for us to say that this is an east-west issue is simply inappropriate.
I agree.
And I think that this board has done an extremely thoughtful job about saying that we are about all Lake Washington kids. And that's been done as in how you conduct yourselves, and I think that is done as reflected in the modernization program and in dealing with growth and making sure that those kids on the east side of the district actually have classrooms to be in when we have more kids than there are spaces.
Well, former President Lyndon Johnson had a saying that it's a little more cruder. That was a very eloquent statement. But LBJ was a crude man, but he had something that I think always applies to the legislative process, the voting process, and that is he'd say, "Don't spit in the soup. We've all got to eat." And that's true in this instance with space. We've got, I know being a recipient on the east side of the generosity of the voters in the past in terms of the facilities we enjoy, it's time that we have to recognize that we need to, and as we've done with the elementary schools and the now middle schools. So we need to continue that balance to make sure that we have the adequate facilities, as you say, to make sure that all kids are educated in a quality environment in our district.
Well, and the modernization program, which is where we ask the voters to fund rebuilding or modernizing existing schools, is always going to be a function of the age of those schools. And it just happens it has gone in waves, so that the Redmond area, because they had a lot of schools built in the 50s and 60s that were in very poor condition, were done before some of the schools that were built. It's just a matter of where schools have been built and when. It has nothing to do with one side of the district or the other.
Right.
And new schools go where we need new capacity. Someday we may need a new school in the Kirkland area if they continue to put more and more denser housing. One never knows.
Yeah.
And I guess I do need to comment, because the idea that as a board member, and I be the center of the district, I do not think of myself as representing those kids more than I represent all the kids in the district. I never have, and I've never known a board member since I've been involved who thought of themselves as only representing that little part of
Your little niche.
our little niche of the district. We represent all the kids. We may be able to speak more about things in our neighborhood, but that has nothing to do with representing all the kids.
Well, we've done this last month, board members as well as many citizens that are on our committee, been out visiting the various PTAs and getting information out that way. And I know you're working with principals, and I'm wondering if it would not behoove us to have something for them to put out in any of their email-type publications here in the next couple months that address these really factual pieces of what this levy is about, again, the information side. But they do have access to their entire parent population, which don't always come to PTA meetings. And so, as they laugh in the back of the room. But I think it would be helpful to have something that, because these are people then who will go out in the community, who will talk to folks like the lady that was here earlier, who got her information in one place and now is looking for other places to get factual information. So if we can educate our parents within the schools, they will help us as they go out and talk to a neighbor and can say to the neighbor, no, that's not what it's going to do. And so whatever we can do in that, I think, would be helpful as well.
Yep, we'll work on that.
Yeah. Ravi?
Can I was looking at the information on the website, partially because I got a question over email about some of the details of the numbers, and so I was looking up to find the answer here, and I see at least two things that are missing. Right? There is good information there, but so there's one PDF we have that has like a table of all the numbers, like with the projected enrollments. It has Juanita, Lake Washington, and Redmond, but I don't see Eastlake there, nor is there like a sort of summation for the entire district of like the projections.
Would you just copy that link and then email it to me, and we'll make sure that's correct.
And the other thing besides that's I guess just an omission is that the information we have there is a lot better at understanding the problem than understanding our solution and how it relates to the problem.
Okay.
Like here are these projections. Now we're going to do this. Problem is gone until year X, right? Like I think that connection is missing from the information. I'll send that to you.
Well, and that reminds me that when I was I spoke to the folks at the Dickinson PTSA. A question was raised as to how we were able to come up with the projections for the STEM school in terms of the capacity.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think we need to, I agree with Ravi, we need to figure out a way to get some of that information in there as well.
Okay.
And as you're going along, as you come up and hear other issues, please forward them to me, because this is something we're all trying to work on and make sure there's factual information somewhere, we're getting it out somewhere. We spent a fair amount of our last meeting together for the levy committee working on those, bringing them up, and what we're hearing as people have gone out to the various places, so we can make this as factual as we can and informational as we can for our voters. And we're trying to do a lot of this before January, because one of our criticisms last February was that we had a number of people said, well, I didn't know it was going to be there till the ballot arrived in my mailbox, and there was no voter pamphlet. So we're learning from from that experience in having a voter's pamphlet and being ahead of the game. But any information you can give us, that would help us as well.
Great.
And I can't thank enough the people that are on the levy committee, the citizens that are on that committee. They are just doing a lion's share of the work, and they're wonderful, wonderful volunteers in our community. Okay, Soup's report. New topic.
Yeah. Tonight I have two things to report on. First, I'd like to invite Forrest Miller to come up and get his presentation ready. One of the things that has come up a number of times is board awareness around where we are from design phase to construction on a number of projects that we have all going simultaneously. So I know that you all know that we have award-winning facilities, and we continue to do extremely well as it relates to our facility designs. However, because we have multiple projects all going on simultaneously, I thought this would be a good opportunity to share with the board where we're at for each of those projects, both from a design perspective and from a progress perspective, and give you the opportunity to ask questions, and or if you need additional information on any given project, you can go ahead and pose those questions in writing or wherever, and we can get that information to you. I was a little bit concerned that there may be a vacuum of information right now on these construction projects, again, only because we're doing so many simultaneously. So,
Are indeed, especially in our neck of the woods. And I have to thank you for having signs that say these were paid for from your approval of the 2006 bonds.
Yeah.
Very good.
So, Forrest, take it away.
Okay. Let me give...
While he's passing that out, I just did also want to mention, and I did mention this some time ago, but because of the nature of so many projects going on simultaneously, we did last year hire a company to help us with the project management around all of these projects, and that company is Heery. Yep. And we have a series of project managers that are assigned to each one of these projects to make sure that we are staying on track and on budget. And we were fortunate in the timing in that because of the slowdown in the construction environment, we were able to capture arguably one of the finest project management companies and one of the finest sets of project managers in the country. And it has been extremely productive for us. And so that is part of our current strategy, and probably one that we'll continue to use because it helps us deal with the ebbs and flows in terms of workflow. And I think that Forrest can speak more specifically to the use of Heery, but it's been a great addition to the Lake Washington strategy. So, Forrest?
Thank you for the opportunity to give you an update, a progress report, if it were, as it were, regarding our school modernization program. And as the board pointed out just a little bit ago, we've put the whole district on a modernization schedule. It's related to 8-year bond cycle, and we are in the second phase of that particular of our school modernization. So I'm going to focus on the 2006 bond, which started in 2006 and goes through the year 2013. It includes 11 major projects, just like the first phase of school modernization. We've finished 2 of those projects, and we have 8 to complete. One of the things to remember that when we go and look at modernizing a school, we go to the voters and we create our estimates and so forth related to the modernization of the existing school. When we actually go and to the project itself and we get ready to do the project, we go through a study by the state guidelines that looks at whether or not we should modernize the building, or if it's more cost effective for us to actually build a replacement school or a new school in lieu of modernization. And so all the projects have been determined so far that all the projects in the 2006 bond, all 11, are going to be replacement schools instead of modernizations of the existing schools. Last year, when I did a report, we were behind on the schedule of getting our projects accomplished by the year 2014. I'm very pleased to let you know that we are going to be making the goal of all of our projects complete before 2014. Part of that is through our continuous improvement effort. One of the things that Chip just discussed was Hury International. A huge firm is now part of working with us. We've created what we call a hybrid model of where we have both in-house project managers as well as contracted project managers. They have helped us to do things like have on-site full-time project management during the construction phase, which we did not have before. In addition to that, they have helped us to create standards and guidelines so that we can ensure consistency with our projects. And they've also helped us to better our involvement of both the school as well as what we now call school advisory, or A teams. We've changed it from mod teams to A teams, and their involvement in the whole process. We'll tell you, I'll go through all the different projects, but one of the things that I think has been very helpful for us is to see a turn in the attitude towards these projects by the schools themselves because of their involvement and understanding of their place and their part of the whole process. Handed out to you was a school schedule, our construction schedule, and this shows you just in broad terms. The green shows the design phase, the blue shows the construction phase, when we project that the schools will have the move-in, and then demolition or site work follows. Because even after the move-in, we still have to work at demolishing the buildings. As you know, we don't have any swing spaces like maybe Bellevue, which they move a elementary school to an empty school, and then they do the construction on the site. We have to do our construction with kids at school while the construction is going on. They move into the new building, and then we demolish the old existing old building after that. And this gives you a little bit of an understanding of what's going to be happening with the last project, which is Rose Hill Junior High School, finishing just before 2014, which is great news. I've divided this report into...
First, Nancy has a question.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just surprised at the number of December move-ins, January start. That seems something that we didn't do in the past.
That's true. And what that means is that we're going to be having the school available to do a mid-year move-in if we elect to do that. We will have the option, if we think that's too difficult to do, to actually move in the following summer. But the buildings will be done by mid-year of the years that we're saying we're doing that. That helps us from a service standpoint because we do not have a lot of resources on the service side to be able to accomplish all the projects in, say, a summer. So at least we can finish projects so that we allow IT and others that need to be doing work to be able to get things accomplished. So we have not made the absolute decision of doing a mid-year move-in on these projects, that we're still going through that process.
I guess my concern would be at that time of year, it's hard to dry things out and clean things up, and does that give you a long enough window to get all that drying, off-gassing, cleaning blowing it all out
Right.
while it's still really damp out.
Yeah, once we get a little bit deeper into the process, we'll bring that back to you and let you know what we really intend on doing. So, thanks, Nance.
I've divided this into those projects that are completed as a progress report, those that are under construction, and then those that are in design, so that we will look at all the different areas. And then also, depending on the project, I'll give you a status of the project, some of the features of the project, as well as anything that might be noteworthy if it applies to the project, and then some of our challenges that we have. One of the first completed project with the 2006 bond was Carson Elementary School, which opened in the fall of 2008. Here's a site plan of that school. It is an excellent school. It is one of our lowest energy use schools in the district. It usually is either in the top one or the top two energy use schools in terms of its low energy consumption. It has a format of the public spaces and the community spaces being nearest the parking lot. It also has a cluster of classrooms centered around a shared instructional area, which has been very successful at Carson. The middle of the three classroom pods is the kindergarten wing, which we created structurally to be able to put a second floor on whenever the voters may allow us to have the money to put a second floor on if needed. It's a small site. It's 7 acres. That's not as small as some of the Seattle school sites, but for us that's a small site. And so we have put some sustainable practices at the school in that we are sharing the bus loop with Inglewood Junior High School, and that's very helpful. It is also a geothermal or a ground source heated school, and we have in-floor slab heating here and some other sustainable measures that make it a very green school. It's also got the only green roof, live vegetated roof in our district, so it's kind of an interesting school itself.
Forrest, is that working out well?
Yes, it is. It's working out well. I think the only challenge that we have with the green roof is that we do have a few weeds on the green roof, and so we're trying to figure out how do we go and weed the roof. But that's the only challenge.
But energy-wise and leak-wise, it's working.
We have absolutely no problems in terms of leaking, and it does give a lot more thermal comfort to the spaces, and it does lower our energy consumption. Yes, so it's a winner. Plus, it helps us with stormwater management, which we do get credits for in the city of Sammamish. Frost Elementary School opened in the fall of 2009. Our other completed project so far with the 2006 bond. One of the things that we're doing with our projects is we're creating what we call some universal maxims. And one of our maxims is flexible, adaptable, and convertible. When Chip earlier spoke about how do we use what we're learning from a building standpoint with furnishings, flexible, adaptable, and convertible applies not just to the building but also to the site and to the furnishings that we use. For instance, in terms of a building, what we want to see is that we create classrooms that it doesn't matter whether or not it's being used as a first grade, a third grade, or a fifth grade class. It could be used for multiple different settings, as well as the shared instructional spaces. This is a picture of one of the shared instructional spaces at Frost Elementary School. The tables, the chairs are very easy to move around, as well as you can see the classrooms have what's known as a folding or nano wall is the term. They also can open in between the classrooms. You'll see over at Frost Elementary School, if you visit, a lot of the times those walls are open, and the teachers absolutely love it. Sue Ann Sullivan this last week told me that, who's the principal at Frost Elementary School, told me that they had this year so far a Fifth Avenue play in one of the pods with one of the classrooms actually taking a test and another class in instruction, and nobody was bothered by everything that was going on. It was amazing. So the kids have adapted well to this type of a setting, and one of the rules that they have at Frost is that they need to be able to move furniture around within 2 minutes and have it done easily. So one of the things we've done is to put bookcases on rollers, for instance, to make it easy to adapt to the different. If it's longer than 2 minutes, then it's going to be discouraging for them to adapt the environment for the different needs that they have. And so they've made it very, very user-friendly in terms of changes. This is a picture of one of the classrooms, and just in the very foreground, you see the books on top of 2 bookcases. Those are on rollers, so they can move around and not obstruct the openings to the rooms. There's a lot of daylighting in these rooms. It's very, the kids are doing computer work, they're doing project work, they're doing self-study work, and that also adds to the amenity of having that shared instructional area, which just expands the classroom for the students.
Hey, Forrest?
Yes.
Frost is the first place that I remember seeing on the slide before this one, that the openings from the classrooms to the shared instructional area are an entire wall practically with those folding doors. That's new, isn't it?
It is. We've had it both at Franklin Elementary, but that's a rolling door, as well as at Rosa Parks, which is also a rolling door. This is the first time that we have used more of a folding wall. Now, they can open just one section of that, or open the entire thing partially, or they can keep it closed. It's their choice. So we have done it at 2 other schools before this.
Well, this is all, if I remember right from being there, it's all glass. So
that's correct.
Do they like this?
Yes,
the way this
very
is
much so. They love the transparency. It's not a distraction because of what's going on in the other classrooms, and they like the opportunity to be able to open it up. If you would like to see the champion of these wall systems is the principal, without a doubt. Absolutely loves how this is really benefiting the educational program. Chris.
So you mentioned at Carson that there was sort of an option built in to grow the school if you needed to. How many of our schools have got that sort of a structure? Is that unique to Carson, or is that something that exists at other sites?
So one of the things that I've asked Forrest to do, and we started this, I believe, with Carson, or maybe before that, is because of the changing demographic in the district, is virtually every school here forward, we're creating an option, if you will. So, for example, Finn Hill, we have an option to add additional space. Lake Washington High School, we have an option to add additional space. And so we put it into the master plan so that we can either go up or out in those forward. It was not practiced in Phase 1 modernization, so we didn't do that in Phase 1 modernization. We started that really with Phase 2. And, of course, you probably have a better sense of how many schools. I know we've done that with LDUB and Finn Hill and with Carson. Are there others that we've done that with as well?
Not so far.
Okay, so those are the 3, but we've been adding that into our scope.
Is it going to be part of each of these that are coming up down the pike?
Pardon?
Is it going to be part of each of these coming down the pike?
In terms of the expansion?
Yeah, the ability
that
to
option.
expand.
Ones that are on the sheet.
Well, we always master plan in extra portables, but we also look at it from a master plan standpoint. If we do need to add to the school, where would that be sited on the school? So yes, we do look at that from a master plan standpoint.
We're attempting to do that where it makes sense to do it. So there are some schools where there's not a logical place to do that, but there are other schools where it does. And so I believe that we've talked about that at Rose Hill Junior, for example, because again,
Makes sense there.
yeah, because again, where there's, we just don't know with the changing demographic,
Right.
and it's going to be cheaper for us to add on to the school because of the site restrictions around the number of portables you can have. I would rather run either a capital projects levy or a future bond to add 4 classrooms or 8 classrooms or 10 classrooms to a space.
One last thing about Frost Elementary School. It's an inspirational school for our school advisory teams that have been meeting during the design process for the rest of the projects in the 2006 bond. It has been stated more than once where we've invited people to go to Carson and to Frost And they have gone skeptical about these shared instructional spaces, skeptical about the arrangements of what the buildings are, coming back, and as one teacher who was very skeptical at one of our projects said this last week, I am now a believer in how these work and how they can really benefit the educational program. So these are great examples for us in terms of how we can better support what the district is doing in terms of our educational program. Projects under construction. We've got 3 projects under construction currently, and that is Lake Washington High School and North Star Junior High, also Finn Hill Junior High and EAS, and lastly Muir Elementary School. So the first project that started in construction and is nearing its completion because it will open in fall of 2011 is Lake Washington High School. You're looking at the Commons building of Lake Washington High School. What is true for all of the school is that all the walls are up, all the exterior is done of the school. We're working on the interior, so it's completely dried in, and we're working on finishing off all the interiors. The gym building itself is actually occupied. We had to tear down this last summer the old gym building as well as Cadle Theater in order for us to be able to progress with the project. So we put the gym building as the very first building to be occupied so that we could do that other work in terms of demolition. And they're enjoying their gym very much. The site plan of the school in the very lower portion of the frame of the picture shows you the different components of the new school. The new school, the old school, excuse me, is built just north or above the performing arts and administration areas where the old school is located. So we have a performing arts wing right next to the administration. There's a commons that is in the center, the athletics or the gym complex, and then academic houses for the school.
Could you go back there for a second, Forrest?
Sure.
One of the things I think that's important, especially in light of our high school conversations, is Lake Washington High School large enough in order to accommodate ninth graders when we move in the fall of 2012? The answer is yes. With this school, it does accommodate the ninth graders as well as the 10th, 11th, 12th graders with the current configuration. Should that not be true in the future? Because we do have this large population of kids that are working through the system. We do have, as part of the master plan, the ability to add another wing, and if I remember correctly, Forrest, that would be adjacent to the Performing Arts Center. Is that correct? Is that where we talked about doing that? And so there is the ability to add some additional capacity to Lake Washington High School should we need it at some point in the future. Of course, we'll have to pay for that, but that's in scope down the road.
So there's 4 academic houses. They're stacked one on top of the other?
Yes.
This is Lake Washington High School is a little unique for us in that the left side, or where it says academic house on the left side, is actually a 3-story portion. It's our first 3-story school. And then the academic houses on the right, because of the change in topography, is a 2-story structure, which is really set a lot lower than the road, so it doesn't look like a 3-story structure from across the street.
And you notice on the right side of the frame next to athletics and academic houses, you can see the picture of the wall there. So that's where there's actually that field section to the right is actually quite a bit higher, and then it drops off. It drops off that hill with a wall, a rock wall, and then you've got the site which that hill continues to drop in elevation.
So there's going to be 5 academic houses, or was one of those wings for North Star?
One of the houses, or one of the areas of the pods, I would call them, or clusters, is North Star Junior High.
Okay.
And when we do go to 9-12, we'll need that space for those students. So North Star will end up moving once in the fall of 2012, because we'll need that space. But one of the requirements was that it could be easily transformed, if you will, to part of the comprehensive high school.
What are we doing with North Star in 2012?
We haven't decided yet.
Oh, our oldest choice junior high school.
Yes.
Very old, almost 30 years old.
This is kind of a perspective of kind of a flyover of what the classroom cluster looks like. as well as we have a CTE and science component with it. So if you start from the left side over, you have 6 classrooms around a shared instructional area that includes an internet cafe, includes study and work tables, as well as reading and individual study areas. Then if you go further to the right, upper right, you will see some science rooms as well as CTE spaces that are in the middle. And then you go to the other side, and there would be another house that's on the other side. Those two things that look like electrical connectors towards the upper portion are just mechanical units, actually, supposed to symbolize mechanical units there. And you're looking from the east side of the school. Oh, that's not right.
Were we able to do geothermal here?
Yes. We're doing geothermal. So that's going to be our third geothermal school. That's one of our standards, is for us to assume that we're starting with geothermal unless we can't, first of all, do it because of soils, which are not appropriate for it, or because of budget. So those are the two things that would keep us from possibly doing it.
I thought it always paid for itself if we could do it, though.
Mm-hmm. This is a view from the stadium side or the north side of the building, and it is looking toward, from the parking lot towards the Commons, which is the center section. The nearest building to the baseball fields and to the foreground is the athletic complex. The performing arts is on the right, and then the classroom sections are in the back. And then this is just a view between the buildings, the classroom section on the right, the Commons, and then on the left-hand side, the administration building. There are solar panels on the roof. It is also one of our goals to have solar panels on each school. We currently, just last week, we got a check from PSC for $3,733 for the electricity that we generated and put back into the grid for PSC. That's a twofold benefit for us, because solar panels not only lower our consumption of electricity, but it also allows us to get a payback for the electricity that PSC is buying from us.
I didn't know there was enough sun in Seattle to actually do that. I'm kind of impressed.
Wait, Forrest, that's not a flat roof, is it?
It is not.
Thank you.
It may look like it, but it is not.
Thank you.
It is a positively sloped roof. Finn Hill Junior High is also under construction, and it will open in 2011. This is a unique project for us because it is the first project that we will be using what is known as SIP panels, which are insulated panels. They are standard insulated panels, which is it has a wood component insulation and then wood again. We're using it for both a roofing system as well as the wall systems. We're on a very tight construction time frame for this particular school, 14 months to construct it. And because of the type of panels that we're using, it will not only have great thermal comfort in the inside, but we are ahead of schedule because of the type of construction that we're doing. This is the site is large enough for us to have a single-story solution, and we're calling this almost a net zero solution in terms of utility impacts. We were able to secure through the bidding process and the good economic condition that we have to be able to put solar panels on all of the classroom pods, which are to the very right. It's very difficult for you possibly to kind of see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 classroom sections there, and actually a seventh. There's room to put a seventh one if we wanted, sixth one if we wanted to. But on all those will be a photovoltaic array or solar panel array, 365 kW, which is going to be the largest installation of solar panels on any public building in the state, and will allow us to basically zero out the heating and energy costs of that building to zero. The only thing that we won't be able to cover is the food kitchen area, which we are trying to figure out how we can lower those costs also.
Tell the kids not to eat.
Huh?
Just have the kids not eat.
Okay.
So is solar the only heat source, or?
No.
What's the
No,
backup?
it's just, what it's doing, it is generating enough electricity to offset the electricity that would be used by the building. In addition to that, we're going to be getting the kickback for PSC
So what's the heat
for buying
source?
electricity that we don't use.
Is it gas or geothermal?
It's also, it is not geothermal at this school. We could not do it here because of the soils, but it is basically an electric school.
A what?
Electric school.
No natural gas?
It has natural gas backup, but it's primarily electric
Okay, because of the solar panels.
because of the solar panels. Where's EAS? EAS is at the last pod at the very top.
Okay, so up here.
With the gym and so forth, CTE off to the right, and then the main entrance. And let's give you a little bit picture. This is an aerial
that's
that
what it
was
looked
taken
like.
in November.
Yesterday.
The old school is up on the upper side of the image, and the lower side in the foreground with the orange tan colored roofs are the classroom sections. So EAS would be to the far right, and then Finn Hill is in the rest of the classroom sections. You can see that they're just beginning to construct. If you go to the west or up from the EAS to the far right, that's where the gym pad is, closest to the stormwater pond, where the commons will be located, as well as the music room and their stage, which is kind of like what we did at Juanita Elementary, for instance, in terms of that combination. The CTE classes are just to the left of that. That's the other orange or tan form that's beginning to be built. And we have not started the administration, which goes from the very left classroom pod above that, so that the main entrance is, oh, thank you. Well, I'm not sure if you guys can see this. I'm just pointing this, but the administration area will be right here.
So is this going to continue to have a stormwater pond, or are we going to do for more infiltration?
We are doing some infiltration here, but was it enough for us? We had to add the stormwater pond. We always try not to do stormwater ponds. That's our last solution, but we had to do that here.
I was mentioning to the superintendent, we should start growing wild rice if we're going to have something like that.
Yeah. The previous picture that we took in October, it was bone dry, and November, as you know, it kind of filled up quickly.
Yeah.
Just an interior shot of one of the classroom sections that we're already beginning with the roof, helping dry things in. We're already putting in the ducting for the mechanical systems and also beginning to frame the interior walls. Our last school that we have under construction is Muir Elementary School, which will be finished, the building will be finished in the winter of 2012. We're excited about this project because it is one of the ways that in order to get our schedule down, we've got to make sure that we can build during the wet months of the year. So what we've been doing is to contract out the construction of the pad or the ground where the building will sit on during the summer, which we did for Muir Elementary. And then what we'll do is we're opening bids tomorrow for Muir Elementary to be constructed for the building itself. So we get a real benefit in terms of the structure and the schedule. The old school is at the lower center of the plan that you see. It's a little bit hard with all these lines, but you have a separate parent drop-off from a bus loop that goes around. In addition to that, the administration center is right on the left-hand side. You have the classroom pods in the middle with a gym to the very far right. The school is being built behind Muir Elementary School currently, and you know that the site is not very deep, and so it goes off. One of our challenges is the runoff at this site. We are doing some creative stormwater solutions here. Instead of a stormwater pond, we're doing injection wells, which is a different methodology, which we've been working with King County and helping pioneer with them to allow us to do that. And there are different injection wells, which helps us from a space standpoint around the site.
With really good infiltration, because you're right, your road is up here, then there's the school site, and then you got a ravine. It's really squeezed.
Yes, it's very, the ravine, and there's been a lot of erosion, which we have to correct, which is one of our challenges because of the stormwater problems there. This is the pad that the contractor, after the bids are opened and we determine who the low bid might be and then determine the contractor, will be building on this section. You can see the school to the right, and they will be building on this pad, the new school.
I heard you had a record number of contractors bid.
Well, we don't know who's bidding because we don't receive them until tomorrow, but we've had a record number show up for the pre-bid.
Oh, the pre-bid meeting.
That's correct. I mean, a huge amount. It is well over a dozen contractors have shown up for this.
I've
Yes.
been instructed to redesign my walk, so I go by here periodically to watch it.
The projects, the rest of the projects in the 2006 bond are those that are in design. And the first one I'd like to share with you is Keller Elementary, which we are planning to open in the fall. We will open in the fall of 2012. And that's the Smiling Cobras, by the way. Friendliest cobra I've ever seen. The site plan for the new building, and because this isn't designed, there's been no construction currently at the site except for those things like drilling holes in the ground to determine whether or not there is appropriateness. It will have geothermal heating for this school. The old school is where the sand play field is currently, and the new one is being built up where the old field is located. It's one of the schools that has a unique feature to that, in that Juanita Creek is running through the portion of the site, and it is a two-story solution. One of the things I think is also interesting in how we've changed some of our processes, we've been told that we are our own economic stimulus package. In all of the projects that we're doing, we have 8 different architectural firms working with us and all their subs, which are usually different. So we are employing quite a few people. I didn't tell you at the beginning, but I think I'll just slide it in here, that Here International has said that they have worked on other programs, like for Seattle, for Spokane, and for other school districts that are larger than our program for Phase 2, but nothing as intensive and to this magnitude in a short amount of time have they've ever done before. One of our requirements was that they better have a deep bench, and they've proved themselves to have a deep bench, which has really been exciting.
Hey, Forrest, before you go, would you go back for a second? One thing, just so that really for the public consumption, we are often asked, how come you built a brand new school and you've got portables on this brand new school? We've gotten that out of the Keller community, et cetera. And if you look at the site plan, there is room for portables, and we actually do plan, as part of our master plan, of having portables in some instances at the opening of the school. And the reason for that is that the demographic changes, and we need to have the flexibility of adding portables or removing portables based upon how that demographic is changing. And so I just wanted to point out that even with a brand new school, we do have that as part of the master plan.
You know, and I think the main thing that's difficult to understand is the cost of unused space.
Yes.
With numbers fluctuating. That's really hard to get your mind around, but I know as a state agency, we're drowning in the cost of unused space right now.
Right.
And how we deal with it. And that's one reason, and schools have...
Notorious for that.
They're notorious for
Right.
it, and they can't afford it. It's
That's
just
right.
too expensive.
That's right.
One of the unique features of this particular project, both Keller as well as Sandburg are in unincorporated King County. However, that's part of the annexation area for Kirkland, and so we have worked with both the county and the city to have both Keller and Sandburg permitted through Kirkland prior to the annexation. And that's going to be really beneficial for us in terms of the timing of the projects, and that's part of our, it helps us with our schedule.
Is there a reason why we still have to have sand play fields?
We cannot maintain turf fields. Sand-based fields help us to be able to have kids play on a longer period of time. We can't let them be left alone. On the turf fields, we usually have to close them if this grass is going to grow well. We're having big challenges, for instance, at Carson Elementary because it's a turf field. We can't keep it, the grass growing well, and it's become more muddy than it has been, the grass growing, so the sand-based fields are better. What we need to do, which we're doing now with our schools, is to make sure that the flooring in our gyms are appropriate for a sand-based field, to make sure that we have walk-off grates before they go into the building, and that they also have appropriate walk-off matting.
Really long grates and mats.
Well, they've got quite a ways to walk, too.
Here's a floor plan of the school. So the gymnasium is on the west side of the school. The main entrance is at this location with the parking lots down in here. The bus loop's on this side, so there is a secondary entrance for those students that come by way of bus, but they go into the same common space in order for them to then get to their classrooms. The administration center is the pinkish color. We have an art sciences, which is typical for all of our elementary schools. We have a learning center or resource room, as well as then we have the classroom sections. And so these are kindergarten rooms. They're at Keller, as well as regular classrooms.
One of the things I'd also like to point out is that there are characteristics that are similar among all of our new buildings, shared collaborative working areas, classrooms surrounding those areas, a very small unit feel to them. However, each building has its own character, so what we aren't doing is doing copycat buildings and plopping them down in different parts of the district. And Forrest's team has done a wonderful job of involving the community, involving teachers, involving administrators in doing the design work around each of the buildings to try and capture the characteristic of that community. So I think it's been a pretty thoughtful process they've used as they've done this design work.
So I actually wanted to get back to the sand field question. We've got 6 elementaries on here. Are they all going to be sand fields?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so that's just policy from here out. Carson's the last turf field?
That's correct.
Okay.
I think it's unfortunate, but I understand. I wish we had another option, but
If we can figure out one, then we would be definitely
have
open.
sand than artificial turf.
I think our soccer teams might beg to differ.
Well, that's true. Have we looked at artificial turf? What's the
The
cost?
Oh, it's
cost and the
ridiculous.
expense is too great.
Yeah.
Are we doing artificial turf at our high schools now,
We do it in our stadiums,
in our stadiums?
Isn't that
That's
the,
but that's it. That's
like-
the only location for
Just
it.
that's the
because of the cost.
artificial turf that's like at Husky Stadium?
Yeah.
Is
Yes.
that what we're using?
Yeah, not AstroTurf. The
Right.
stuff now is much higher level, but it's just a cost
Yeah, it's not
factor.
cheap.
This is the second floor for Keller Elementary,
Big green
and
roof.
you have, again, we put the classroom sections with the shared instructional space over the other classrooms that are just below it. The library is on the second floor, and then the larger volume spaces are on the left, which is not, it doesn't have a second floor, but you have the commons as well as the gymnasium over to the left. This is just an elevation of what the school will look like. That's the front entrance. You see the front entrance by the flagpole. One of the interesting things that they're working with here, because the school's really gotten excited about the namesake of the school, Helen Keller, so they've been doing a lot of research. And they are going to be doing windows at the school that are really in a Braille form in terms of the color and how they look, and it's actually going to spell out Helen Keller in Braille in their windows.
Which
So that's,
windows?
the windows that are like up here.
Wait, where?
The
Clear
ones
stories?
by on the library windows.
Can you have colored windows for clear stories?
There's not going to be. It's not going to be it's not going to be heavily colored, and so there's going to be allowed for. Yes, you can. It still allows light.
That'd be pretty.
Here's another perspective of the school, or the elevation of the school. That's the top form is the main entrance, and The bottom form is actually the other side of the school, which is the north side of the school.
Now, are these schools also going to have all the solar panel arrays now that we've started them at Finn Hill?
This will have solar panels on it, that's correct. It won't have as many as Finn Hill, but it will have solar panels on it. Sandburg Elementary School is the next school that we're in design, and both Keller as well as Sandburg are just finishing design development, which means they're going into the construction documents. And the current school is where the all-purpose sand field is, and we're building the new school on the field area, the current sand field. So the school is quite different looking in terms of its layout, but it has, as Chip said, the same parts or the same pieces. So you have a gym and a commons that are next to each other, along with a music room that doubles as a stage. You have classroom sections together. Administration is near the parking and main entrance and so forth. You have Discovery School, which is the closest, the 3 classrooms together, and then the rest are classrooms. Here's the layout of the first floor. And now I need to talk to the architects because this is opposite from the last one that you just saw. The Discovery School is in the upper left-hand corner, and then you have the classroom sections. You have the kindergarten rooms, the administration on the first floor, and then your gym, as well as commons and everything on the lower right-hand side.
So
the upper floor also has the library on it, as well as more classrooms.
Is there a shared learning space there for Discovery School? Is that little triangular area?
There is a shared space right there.
Okay.
Yes, they also get shared activities, learning space.
I would think they'd really need it. And would their walls between their classrooms be movable?
They will be openable, that's correct. To some degree, not the entire wall, but to some degree. Let's see here. This is just a rendering of what the school will be looking like. The form on the far right, the single-story section is Discovery School. The blue windows is the library with the administration on the first level below, and classrooms both on the first and also the lower level, and then with the gym off to the far left. And here is just another view of the covered play area at the bottom with the gymnasium, and then on the northwest view of some of the classroom forms and the other side of the gymnasium.
With the second-story libraries, are they in the part of the building that is still part of the public? Mm-hmm. So that people can access them for meetings and stuff
Correct.
In the evenings?
Yes, and we can still secure off the rest of the school
Okay.
so that they do not go into the classroom areas. Correct. As well as we can zone them for lighting, for heating, and also they will have restrooms nearby. Rose Hill Junior High School is also in design. We're not in design development quite yet. We're still in the middle of the schematic or concept design for Rose Hill Junior High. The old school is the dotted lines over on the right, upper right, is where the old school is located, and the solid to the upper left is the proposed location for the new site. This school has some challenges in terms of topography, and it is going to be our first 4-level school.
Wow.
Not just a 3-level school, but a 4-level school. Although it won't look like that when you're at any one particular juncture, you'll see 2-story, but because it steps down so severely as you get towards the existing track and field, then that is one thing. We also have high power lines that we have to stay away from. There's an easement that we have to stay away from. So we're really challenged at this site in the areas that we can actually build.
Do you also want to talk about the pipeline that we have on that side
That's
as well?
correct. We also have a gas pipeline that's down at the lower edge of the property. So you have high power lines and you have a gas pipeline.
Where are the high-powered lines?
The high power lines are right here.
So how close is that to the building?
Not even more than it is now.
We are probably around 80 to 100 feet away from it.
They're on our property?
Yes, they're on our property. There's an easement for both.
Don't really pay attention when
I
you go
haven't
there.
noticed, yeah.
Where the
The
parking is.
pipeline, when they're doing the construction and putting in the foundation and all, is somebody going to monitor and check it?
We
Make sure
already
we
are
don't.
working with the city as well as with the utilities that are responsible for both the power lines as well as the group that's responsible for the gas power line. And we're working with them to make sure that everything is safe and appropriate. And we're also fairly far away from,
Yes.
from a construction standpoint.
We were noting the use of the old logo.
We're ready for a new one next time you upgrade.
Yes. Well, this was done a little while back, so. Let's see here. This is the first level of 4 levels, and that's at the bottom towards the track, and it's our gym and our athletic complex. On the level then where the administration is, that's the second level, and you'll see commons as well as the kitchen and library, and also Stella Scola will be on that second level. On the third level is one set of classroom settings, and also the art studio and so forth. And then on the fourth level, you'll see 2 more class clusters that are there.
That's going to really complicate your science prep area for each area to have their own science lab.
We are still working, we've done that at Kirkland Junior.
So they're going to have their own prep for each science lab?
That's correct. And we've also done shared ones, but not too different from that at Finn Hill also. We have already been to the Design Review Board once in the city of Redmond, and they're very positive about the school and what our proposed solutions are. Bell Elementary. I would say that Bell Elementary and Rush Elementary are probably our 2 most challenging sites that we're working with in this modernization phase. We are just at the beginning of the schematic design, and even though this is sideways, sorry about that, the street is off to your right, and the woods that are just off the screen at the bottom. And then this building itself is what we're looking at, and this is what the A-team or the advisory team, the school advisory team, is working with as a possible solution. We haven't come to any recommendation yet, so this has not gone, we've not settled on this, but we're looking at it as a potential. One of the things that you might want to know is that we are not going to be touching the wooded area. It has a stream running through it, it's got wetlands in it, and it's a very important area for the neighborhood to not touch, so we're not touching the wooded area. And this is going to have to be a phased school, though, because it's going to be really difficult to have the school constructed. We'll have to tear down a little bit of the existing school, temporary housing for some uses of the school. It might be like the library or other things, or the gym, and then we will be building the school at the same time. So it will be an interesting challenge, both from a phasing as well as a topography. Rush Elementary School, probably even more challenging from topography than Bell Elementary. We have the fields on the upper side. That space behind the trees is the field, which is quite a distance higher than where the school is located. And the school is actually located here. Where the portables currently
Where is it located?
The school is actually right here. Where the portables are currently located at Rush Elementary, we have discovered is a wetland that we can't build on. So we're going to be removing
Wetland with
those.
concrete slabs on the top of it? It's a wetland with concrete slabs right now on top of it.
No, there's no concrete slabs there.
Well, you said the portables are on the wetland.
That's true, but they're only on pier blocks. They're not on a concrete slab.
So we've got to give up that space and turn it back into a wetland, basically.
That's correct.
Okay.
In addition to that, what we're going to be doing is another phase project. So the blue blocks represent classroom sections, and those can be built, as well as the library, which is the purple form. The red symbolizes the administration offices, and then the gym and the commons are the gold and taupe or something colored stuff, blocks, as well as the music room is the dark green. But we can build the classroom blue blocks, the library, the administration without tearing anything down with the existing school. Then we're going to have to phase the rest of the school. You can see that in all of our solutions, we are separating traffic in terms of buses and car student drop-off.
And I think it's also fascinating to see what you've seen in this presentation is from completed to design to, this is the Lego phase, if you will. But it's interesting to see how we go from conception to Lego phase to design phase to construction phase, and how that process works.
Yes. This has been really helpful.
So this is the first level, and you can down the more goldenrod color is where the commons is. The taupish color is the gym with a covered play area in light green. The bright yellow is the corridors or the hallways that the circulation occurs. The blue blocks are the classroom sections with kindergarten classes below. You can see that the first level is also built somewhat into the hill, not with classrooms, but there'll be mechanical spaces and other things that another second level classroom section will be built on top of that. Here's the second level. The purple form is built on top of the kindergarten classrooms, and you have the science and art room, which allows outside access, which actually is on the first level, I'm sorry. And then you have other forms that are around it with easier access to the actual to the fields. One of the challenges we're going to have here is that we need to create a good ADA path from the lower area to the upper field, which we currently do not have.
Does this site have capability of going geothermal?
We believe it does, and so we're working towards that. We haven't made the conclusion whether or not we're going to be able to do that or not. The last project, and we don't have anything but this picture because it has just begun its design process along with the school, is both ICS and Community Elementary School, which we will open in the fall of 2013.
One of the other things that I did want to mention is that Forrest has been extremely deliberate about each step of the process, and so every time a building gets to the schematic level, there's an executive review, so both Janine and myself review the drawings. We talk about budget, we talk about site mitigation, we talk about design considerations, and then we both sign off on that for each site. So I think that there's a pretty good system of checks and balances with Forrest and his team downstream, and then Forrest upstream in terms of making sure there's a appropriate level of executive review.
And we have a history of being within our budget in our past bond, the first go-round, and continuing that now. So would like to congratulate all the hard work that's done on that as well to make sure we do that. Not always is that true, so that the school that's at the end doesn't get shortchanged because everything got spent and then it was left with a smaller pot, which happens in other situations. So that's very good money management on your part. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'd like to suggest, unless there are additional questions, that we will do something similar to this in a year from now when we've got the schools in 12 and 13 will be a little bit further along, and the schools for 11 will be complete about this time a year from now. I think that'd be good if you guys are agreeable to that.
Sounds great. Thank you, Forrest.
You're welcome.
It's fantastic. Thank you, Forrest, very much.
We haven't had you here for a long time, so it's nice to have you come join us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else on your Soupy's report?
I do, and so, Madam President, you can, in light of the hour, you can either have me go ahead or put it off for a week. So the second part of tonight's superintendent's report is around graduation data and graduation numbers. So I do have a report for you. I'm happy to do that unless you would like to delay it for 2 weeks as a result of the hour. So that's your call.
What does our agenda look like next time?
We can,
Should be okay.
we can do it.
Delay.
Delay?
Okay.
Delay.
Thank you.
So anything else?
No.
Okay. Thank you. very much appreciated. That was very, very good, and I think it was very helpful to folks to see what's going on out in the community. That's a lot of buildings being done. Okay, legislative report.
Yes.
Doug.
As Chip indicated earlier, I think when he was talking about the levy, the economy is a concern, and obviously the voters last Tuesday were motivated by the economy. But in terms of our district, as near as I can tell, the dust isn't quite settled yet, but it looks as though we're going to have two new state senators. One person that we're pretty familiar with, and that's Marilyn Chase in the 32nd District. He's moving up from the House to become the senator. I think she's replacing Darlene Fairley.
Yes.
And she'll have that'll be an interesting change in that seat. Marilyn's pretty outspoken and tends to represent one spectrum of the political I'm trying to think of the word I want to use, but one I won't say extreme, but it's certainly a profound. She has a profound view about things. Also, in the 32nd District, and you can help me with the pronunciation, but we have the former mayor of Shoreline moving into Darlene's seat, or I'm sorry, Maryland's seat, and that's Cindy. Are you?
I don't know. Shadeen?
Okay,
I think
Rue.
it is too. I think
Okay.
I think I did see that. Yes.
So Cindy Rue, who is the former mayor of Shoreline, will become a new state representative in the 32nd. And then Ruth Kagi, who's also in the House, was returned with a pretty comfortable margin. In the 45th District, we will have Eric Omeg was defeated by Andrew Hill, I think. Andy Hill.
Yep.
And there were no changes in the House. It appears that there are no changes in the House seats, although Roger Goodman was given a run for his money. But it appears that with every new count that his margin is growing. And so there were not really, in the House side of the 45th, there won't be any changes. There were no changes in the 5th District. Both House seats were up and both incumbents were returned with Jay Rodney and Glenn Anderson. And then in the 48th District, there was a very spirited contest for all three seats, but it appears that, again, the incumbents, although some of them, even one or two of them trailed in the early returns, as further returns come in, their margins are becoming much more comfortable. So we won't see any changes in the 48th District. It appears that former school directors did really well in the elections, ranging from Patty Murray, who was reelected actually pretty comfortably. We also, I think most of these are returns, but Marcy Maxwell in the 41st District, former Renton school board member, Norma Smith up in South Whidbey, Sam Hunt, who's a longtime House member from Olympia, who used to be a North Thurston school board member, Kathy Hay from the South Side School District, Fred Finn from Griffin School District, Bruce Denmeyer from Puyallup, and then Mike Armstrong, who's been a long time supporter of education, but was a board member in Wenatchee School District. So all those, I think there's a couple of new faces there, but basically all the incumbents who were school board members were returned. A couple other things. In terms of context, I think the Seattle Times said that without King County, in terms of in the election mix, this would be Idaho in terms of the the actual formulation of the outcomes.
Yeah.
In fact, if you look at the
Take
map,
King County out.
you take King County, actually Snohomish and Whatcom, and a couple others, it's pretty bright red. But what's interesting is that King County's contribution to the results of the election, and it was certainly visible in this U.S. Senate race, is having a greater and greater impact on the actual outcome of elections. And part of that, this is one of our first all male, and that's MAIL elections, where
Mail election.
we actually had a new record in an off year or a by-election, and that is 71% of voters returned their ballots in the mail.
Wow.
And that's a record. It's also interesting that our population is 1.9 million, but about 1.1 million of those people are registered voters. And you compare that to the rest of the state, which is 6.6 million, and 3.6 million are registered, which is about half, a little over half. So the speculation, and this is a blog on a blog called Sunbreak, that King County, if King County continues to become more a denser population, it's going to become more and more influential in the elections, and it will be more blue, as it were. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. But the county's electorate now represents 1/3 of the state's registered voters, and so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But because of that, that kind of Idaho blue difference, that's going to make the next legislative session pretty difficult, because they're pretty diametrically opposed viewpoints expressed in that election. Finally, just related to that, to the upcoming session, in our state association legislative update, it was mentioned that the voters rejected last session's temporary sales tax increase, primarily in the bottled water and soda and candy and that sort of thing. And also the voters reinstated the two-thirds majority requirement to raise new revenues. And as we face right today, it looks like a $4.5 billion shortfall, it's going to be pretty difficult to raise new revenue and really close that gap in the budget. And so even though the Constitution says that K-12 basic education shouldn't be impacted, it's difficult to see how they would be able to do anything without having some kind of an impact. And of course, then we're still left with the last session's substitute House Bill 2776, which includes a new distribution funding formula for prototypical schools, and all-day kindergarten, and smaller class sizes in K-12, and fully funding pupil transportation. So, that's going to be interesting, as well as restoration of I-728, which is one of them was class sizes, and I-732, which was teacher cost of living increases. So one can speculate that things are going to be pretty difficult this next session. So that's it in a nutshell.
You're going to WASDA, correct?
That's right. That's right.
Okay, and on the, anything other than the fact that we probably don't want to support the dues increase?
No, but
do you need anything from us?
I'll take a look at I'll touch bases if there is anything else. I don't think that there's anything else but the dues increases that's going to come up in that.
Which I do not support.
No,
for
I-
one.
No, I don't. I think I heard that.
I think it's really
What's
time
new?
for them to look at how can they cut instead of adding, since everybody else is going that road.
Well, maybe I'll see if I can get implemented a 2/3 majority requirement.
There
to,
you go.
I also think
Weighted
that
vote. Weighted vote.
Doesn't that go both ways now?
we actually have a weighted vote on the Board of Ed. Did you all have your ballot? Don't be like I did.
I already sent mine in.
I did, but I had buried it for a couple weeks. You do have your ballot for
Yeah,
State
and
Board
it's
of
due
Ed.
November 24th.
Yes, dear, I voted.
What is this?
There's a contest that will be
Connie Fletcher and some other person.
right
Well,
for the state
with,
board.
it comes in such a big envelope, I thought it was something else, so I didn't pay attention to it for a while until I realized I was supposed to have it and went looking for it. The one thing I would like to be able to do, because, my days of attending WASDA are probably not going to be as very frequent anymore. This being able to vote for officers in absenteeism, I think, I don't know, I heard that was going to be on here. If it is, I do support that. I just think expecting in this day and age, in this economy, that many directors to be able to attend WASDA is not realistic, and we ought to be able to do electronic voting of some sort. Not necessarily mail, that costs money, but electronic. I mean, it's not big secretive stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And I know Diane is, well, now that the election, once we know who all the people are, is going to be setting up some meetings with Chip, and then we'll let board members know so that we can join in on any of those that we would like to or can attend.
Good idea.
Anything for the future agenda items that we don't know about other than his SOOP's report moving forward?
Just a preliminary apology. I think there's a December one where I've got a trip that now conflicts with it. So.
Okay. Okay.
Someday this will pass.
Well, I'll probably be more free because as of November 30th of this month, I will be retired from King County. So, that'll be interesting. A transition.
Yes, and then, but looking for other
Oh
opportunities.
yeah, it's 60 is way too early to retire in this economy.
So he is still looking for opportunities. Any follow-up items that we need to address?
No, we've got a couple of things that came up about a month ago regarding our ER reporting, but I'm gonna address those when we do the next round of ER reporting. So
Okay.
I've got them on the list, and we'll
Okay.
address those in a couple weeks.
Okay. Debrief? Anything? Any board member comments?
I do.
Good over the order?
Just real quick, if I found a couple things in the November ASBJ, the School Board Journal, really interesting. One was this work of art in Cincinnati. Made me think of lots of, I'd like to find out more about Renaissance School, but this real focus on the arts and how it can help not all students, but what they've done with this high school is just fabulous.
Yep.
With credit recovery and getting kids towards higher ed that weren't headed towards higher ed.
Great.
And I also found this one on a district ombudsman interesting. I don't know that we need this, but I think it's an interesting idea to keep in the back of our minds. I know we have a state ombudsman, but it has a unique role in districts that sometimes, I don't know, maybe someday we should talk about the
Did you know
ideas.
that
Well,
that's
20
what
years,
Bob used to
20
be?
years ago, we used to have.
Did you know that that's how Bob got involved, Hughes, with the district, was as an ombudsman?
But
Back
for
when?
Boeing.
No.
No, we used to. That
Before
was
he
an
became
issue.
on the board.
So we
It's
used
kind
to
of
have
interesting
a
how
position.
cycles come and
Yeah.
Yeah, back when we had a video person and we had a director for each department, and we had vice principals in our elementary schools, and we had 4 administrators in our high schools. And back in those days, we had
Well, we
an
had all
ombudsman.
those staff.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Bob did that as, for a while.
We're not going to be
before
adding
coming on
staff
board.
right now, but I found the concept interesting.
Anything else, board members? Otherwise, our next meeting is November 22nd. At 5:30 will be our board meeting, and at 7 we'll have a work session, continuing our work session of today, talking more about end results and goals. And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion?
Second.
And a second. So Chris and Ravi, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.